There's this phrase, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. It originated with the Navy SEALs, and now it is super popular in sports training. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. It emphasizes the importance of technique, going slow, and then consistency, smooth, and then intensity, fast. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. You go slow so you can learn it well from the beginning, so you eventually go fast and can do it well under any circumstances. But most of us are trying to go fast in life before ever going slow. We try to skip the slow and smooth steps and just go fast. We hurry to go fast, right? Out of impatience or self-doubt or fear, to prove ourselves, to even just outrun the thoughts that creep in when we are quiet. But jumping too fast leads to injuries of all kinds, frantic action, and regrets. I remember when I first had my driver's license, I loved driving fast when I was alone. My mom had a convertible Ford Mustang. It was an automatic before you think I'm that cool, but it was a really great car. And I would drive fast and confident, like I knew what I was doing. And on a straight road without a lot of cars, I could do it just fine. But one time, in the middle of a busy area, I tried to turn left from a small street onto a large street with lots of cars coming in both directions. I'm watching the cars whiz by. I knew I had to go quickly, so when I saw my opening, I gunned it. I had found my opening in the traffic and I was turning left as quickly as possible when I hit something on the ground that I couldn't see. And after some horrible scraping, I realized there was a concrete and grass median in the middle of this large road, and only right turns were actually possible. I went up on the median, front tires going up and over, and then that low clearance Mustang got halfway onto the median and basically hung there for a moment. I thought I was gonna get stuck teetering, but luckily, the tires caught a little traction and I was able to get to the other side of the road. And I was terribly shaken up and startled. I hadn't seen the median. I was so busy watching the cars and getting ready to go fast. And I was kind of mad and scared. And luckily, I wasn't stuck. And I was very terrified that I had broken the car. Side confession, did I mention it to my mom? No. Sorry, Mom. I don't think I did permanent damage. She never brought it up that I know of. I'm sorry. This is what happens. We hurry and rush to be fast before we have a good foundation. I skipped slow and smooth and just tried to be fast. I skipped really learning technique and consistency and tried to jump to intensity. And most of us are doing this in our whole lives, going as fast as we can. And it seems fine until we hit a bump that we're not expecting, and suddenly we are scared and hurt and frustrated. We're ill-equipped to handle it. As Proverbs 21:5 says, careful planning puts you ahead in the long run. Hurry and scurry puts you further behind. Modern life has only increased our sickness when it comes to hurry and scurry, and it's putting us further behind. Now, hurry sickness is an actual phrase coined by a cardiologist in the 50s. To describe the feeling a lot of us have. It's this desperate need to be as busy, productive, efficient, fast as possible, as soon as possible. And it'll present in us as like a looming, frantic feeling of time urgency that causes us to rush through daily life, to multitask constantly, and to feel chronically behind. And it's only gotten worse since the term was actually created. Our culture totally glorifies productivity, and now we have 24/7 technology that makes us available to every demand, able to stay busy and distracted, and feel like we have to keep up with everything going on in the world. Hurry sickness is linked to stress, anxiety, heart issues, and please hear this part, decreased productivity. Proverbs said it, careful planning puts you ahead in the long run. Hurry and scurry puts you further behind. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. Now, how do you know if you are suffering from some hurry sickness? Some signs. A constant sense of urgency. You have this anxious feeling that you are behind even when you aren't. So you end up multitasking and rushing everything, including things that are supposed to be relaxing. This shows up in me in a big way when I think I'm not doing enough with my life, like I'm behind in a life purpose kind of way. It also shows up in the everyday, When I try to speed through walking my dog in the morning, and I try to make him stop smelling everything so I can hurry home and get to work. And then I get to work and I try to do like 3 or 4 things all at the same time all day. Another way it shows up is impatience and irritability. You have a low tolerance for delays, such as like slow internet, slow traffic, long lines. You feel less enjoyment overall. I know if I pick a line at the grocery store and it ends up being the slow line, I feel like I failed at life somehow. Last week, I was in a parking lot and a woman was pushing her cart and she was like in the middle of the lane. She was going so slow. And since she was in the middle, I was stuck. I had to spend, for sure, a full minute waiting for her to get out of my way. It's only this sermon that kept me sane. Another way it shows up is neglect of self-care. You start skipping sleep, exercise, or meals to save time. I know Andrew gives me a hard time because when I'm stressed, I stop eating normal food. I live on like protein bars and random chips that I find. And so this is my first sign that I've gotten hurry sickness again. Another one is relationship strain. You might interrupt others, blame others, have little time for loved ones, forget to appreciate people. I mean, do you have a hard time just relaxing with friends and family? I know when I get hurry sickness, I can get annoyed when people try to talk to me while I'm doing something else, and I forget to just spend a few minutes connecting with people. A final one is physical effects. And these are real. It's how the phrase got created in the first place. You've got tight muscle tension, shortness of breath, high blood pressure, insomnia, a weakened immune system, increased cardiovascular risk. These are some of the effects of hurry sickness. So, this series is called Traveling Light for a reason. Our days get packed with working, consuming, worrying, rushing, comparing, scrolling, hiding. This season, we are slowing down to change that. Traveling Light, it's this journey through the life of Jesus in the Gospels. Each week, we're looking at moments with Jesus, what he said and did with real people. And then we practice trusting his way instead of our usual way. This week, we are looking at how we can set down the demand to hurry and produce beyond our capacity and live in the ways of Jesus. Not rushed, not weighed down by overwork, able to breathe, enjoy life, be with our loved ones, get things done, and also be with Jesus. Have less stress, less feeling behind, less resentment or bitterness, more joyful, patient, loving lives. And it does come down to that phrase, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. This isn't about doing nothing. This is about doing everything with this in mind. Now, Jesus had this friend named Martha, who is a lot like all of us. She tried to go fast without going slow first. And it made her worried and grumpy. It made the moments she wanted to be special and important feel stressful and sad instead. Martha and her siblings, Mary and Lazarus, became great friends with Jesus. Now, there is a famous story about Martha and Mary. If you've been around church, you probably know it. And you might already be feeling like, Nicole, hurry up and get on with it. I already know this one. Now, for those of you who are new to church, you're at an advantage because it's new to you. But if you know the story of Mary and Martha, now is a chance to slow down. Because we know this story, and yet we all still struggle with hurry sickness. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Let's slow down with these scriptures and see what they can give us today. So like I said, Martha and her siblings, Mary and Lazarus, became great friends with Jesus. Early in their relationship, Martha invited Jesus and his disciples to their house so she could host them. She was so excited to have Jesus in her home, to feed him and his disciples. She invited them in to give them a place to stay, to just jump in and do it all well for Jesus. Luke 10:38 says, as Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. Now, you may not be much of a host, but think about a time when it was incredibly important to you to be helpful, capable, competent, productive, impressive, effective. If you're like me, you've built your life on being those things. You've built your career, your worth. So this very capable person invites Jesus and his disciples into her home. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way. He came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister named Mary who sat at the Lord's feet, listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me." Martha is rushing around. She's trying to be fast, practical, productive, to serve well, to do her part, to earn her worth, to be worthy of Jesus being at her house, to be her friend. See, she's working so hard and hurrying to get it all done well, but she is worried, distracted, resentful, bitter. I've had those moments when I've been so wrapped up in hurrying to get things done well that I have forgotten to enjoy the work or the people around me. Like, you just start to get frustrated, right? And scared and self-conscious and nervous. You know you're not making the impression you want to. So you start to look around and look for reasons, someone to blame. The resentment starts to creep in. And you just start to look for anybody that you can start to point to say, you need to help me. For Martha, she tries to blame her sister. What is Mary doing? Sitting at the Lord's feet, listening to what he's saying. And Martha can't handle it. She asks Jesus, "Don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work myself? Tell her to help me." You can't just sit and listen to Jesus. You have to be working as hard and as fast as I am. We've all had moments where we wanted to make someone help us better. Jesus, fill in your blank. Tell so-and-so to help me. Tell my husband to help me. Tell my wife to help me. Tell my kids to help me. Tell my coworkers to help me. I am alone here trying to hurry and get it all done. In the middle of our overwork, we can think of the people who should be helping us go faster, and we resent them. And if we believe in Jesus, maybe we even do ask him to make them help us. But what does Jesus do with Martha? He stops her, and he says, "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." When you're distracted, someone often has to say your name a few times to get your attention, right? I mean, in this era of headphones and screens and multitasking, I can say my kids' names multiple times before they hear me, and they would say the same for me. Nicole, hi, this is important." Jesus says, "Martha, Martha, I'm right here. Look at me." So whenever you are feeling hurried, stressed, you're trying to go fast, you can feel the hurry sickness coming, hear Jesus say your name twice. Let it stop you in your tracks. You could even say it out loud to yourself. Nicole, wait. Jesus says, "Hi, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed. Actually, only one is truly necessary. The rest is, believe it or not, a joyful bonus. And if it doesn't feel like a joyful outpouring of purpose and service, then you've missed a step or two." Jesus points out the first thing. Have you gone slow first? Be with me, Jesus says. First and most importantly, be with me. Now, here's how the slow, smooth, fast paradigm fits with following Jesus. When we follow Jesus, slow means be with Jesus. That's the first thing we do. Smooth, practice Jesus' ways. And then we go fast and we really live like Jesus in all circumstances. The necessary first step is to be with Jesus. Slow down, just be with him. Sit still for a moment, aware of his presence. You know, one of the lies we believe that tempts us to jump to going fast is that we have to earn our worth. It makes us feel frantic. Starting slow teaches us the techniques of Jesus, and it also helps us understand that we are loved, safe, worthwhile as we are. There's nothing to earn or prove. Martha is running around trying to be productive and helpful and fast, but she missed the first step, the necessary step. In every area of our lives, we try to skip the slow and smooth steps and get right to fast. And then we wonder why we feel so bad and off balance. Jesus is telling Martha and us, start with slow and go back to slow whenever you feel hurry sickness take over. Be with Jesus. Listen to his words. Go slow. He's here. He's here in your house, in your life, the most important thing is being with him and going slow first. Jesus himself frequently went away to be alone with God. We see the example he set in moments like Luke 5, where it says, "Yet the news about him spread all the more so that crowds of people came to hear him and to be healed of their sicknesses." But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Even when crowds of people were begging for help, Jesus didn't hurry or work until he collapsed. He went away, often to be slow and to pray. So our first step is to be like him. Slow down, listen to him. Then we will learn his ways. Then eventually, we will be able to live like him in all circumstances. As Jesus, we get his words in Matthew. He says, "Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion, on the way you're living? Come to me. Get away with me, and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly." Do you see how it's the same pattern? Are you hurrying, stressed, worn out, burned out on the way you're living? Slow down. Get away with Jesus and recover your life. Then walk with him, work with him. Watch how he does it. Practice and learn the unforced rhythms of grace. Then eventually, in his company, you'll live freely and lightly. You will learn the details of things like patience, joy, gratitude, peace with consistency. You'll be able to access those things under bigger and bigger challenges. Think of it like training as a runner, a weightlifter, a Navy SEAL. Slow, consistent practice alongside Jesus who knows makes you able to be smooth. No hitting the median, no angrily asking Jesus to make someone else help you. Learning your worth, skills, limits, and abilities, learning techniques, and being consistent in their practice. Then all of that helps you go fast. Now, this moment with Martha and Mary is not a story that tells us to never get anything done, to quit our jobs and our families and become contemplative monks who sit and pray all day. It can feel like it, especially if you relate more to Martha than Mary, if you do value getting things done. It's about not skipping the most necessary part of being with Jesus before doing anything for him or anyone else. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. Because we meet Martha and Mary again, and they are both still themselves, but Martha now seems to have a different way about her. So in John 12, look at what Martha is doing. This is a week before Jesus' death. This is much later in their relationship. It says, 6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany where Lazarus lived, whom Jesus had raised from the dead. Here, a dinner was given in Jesus' honor. Martha served, while Lazarus was among those reclining at the table with him. And then Mary took about a pint of pure nard, an expensive perfume, and she poured it on Jesus' feet and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. This beautiful moment was possible because Martha served. She didn't stop being who she was, but now she's serving without complaint, without being distracted or frustrated. Martha's not worried about what her siblings are doing. She's living her life freely and lightly, and still being the one to get things done, but in a new way. She is with Jesus. It's not about what you are doing. It's about why and how you're doing it. Are you working frantically to earn your worth or to avoid being alone and with Jesus? Are you burnt out? Are you sick with hurry? Start again. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. This week, build moments into your day to slow down and be aware of how you are living. Here is our challenge for this week. Each week, we're talking about giving up one thing to help make room for Jesus, to put down something heavy. So this week, start each day with 5 minutes, 10 minutes if you're really ambitious, of doing nothing but breathing and being aware of God's presence. And come back to that for a minute anytime during the day that you start feeling hurry sickness creeping in again. One thing that has really helped me do this was learning the ancient practice of using God's proper Hebrew name as a way to breathe and pray. So you'll see it sometimes as YHWH. Over time, we've added vowels to help us actually say it, Yahweh. But scholars and rabbis say that those letters, YHWH in Hebrew, they represent breathing sounds, just the sounds of inhale and exhale. And that when you pronounce it without vowels, it sounds like breathing. YH is inhale, WH, exhale. It calls back to this moment where God gave the first humans life. It says, "Then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being." We were created by the combination of dirt from the earth and breath from God, which is why grounding ourselves in nature and breathing slowly and deeply and intentionally will always calm us and bring us back to health. With every breath we take in and out, we are saying God's name. So, start each day with 5 to 10 minutes of doing nothing but breathing and being aware of God's presence. And then come back to that for any moment that you need it. When hurry sickness starts to creep in, give yourself a moment and connect yourself to something natural. Grass, trees, flowers, sand, the ocean, even just looking out the window. And breathe, being aware of Jesus. You could even say Yahweh as you inhale and exhale. You could say Jesus as you inhale and exhale. See, the goal in all of this is not to do nothing. The goal is to do everything lightly and freely with Jesus. To let ourselves start slow whenever we need to go back and start slow, and then allow it to be smooth, something we learn and practice and starts to become really natural. And then as it becomes really natural, we can speed up. And we will have times where we're able to go fast and let it be intense and still be following Jesus and still be connected to ourselves and to him, even as we are productive and serving. That's the best part of watching Martha's story, that early on she didn't know how to do it. But later she knew how to be herself, live into it, be productive, but also not be sick and hurried and injuring herself or others. For you, I pray that you'll give yourself time to be still, to not hurry, to breathe in and out. 5-10 minutes each morning, aware of Yahweh, of God in your life, of Jesus in your life, and that there's nothing for you to earn. Every productive thing you do throughout the day is a joyful bonus, an opportunity God has given us to care for him, the world, ourselves, each other. So we take time to give ourselves the gift of going slow first. I'd love to pray for all of us that we would learn this, that even if we have to hear the story of Martha and Mary 10 more times before we finally get it, that someday we'll let this really beautiful scripture show us how to live our lives lightly and freely in the unforced rhythms of grace that Jesus carries. So let's pray. Jesus, I ask that each one of us would be still with you, that we would listen to your words, that we would know that that is the only necessary thing, is to be present with you. We are worried and distracted by a lot of things. We think a lot of things are important, and they can be. But Lord, I pray that you help us to always start with the most important thing of being with you. We give ourselves permission to be still and slow for a little bit, and especially whenever we start to have hurry sickness creep back in, we would give ourselves permission to take 1 minute to breathe, be aware of you, maybe even find a little bit of nature to help us get reconnected to the dirt and the breath that makes up all of us. Thank you for the ability to travel light. Jesus, it's in your name we get to pray. Amen.